Good evening, everybody at home, and welcome to our Select Board meeting, 6 p.m., Monday, July 20th, 2020. And we have quite a bit of work to do tonight and a lot of things on the agenda. So we're going to start right now. And Winetta, you had mentioned that I should ask for a motion to change the order of something on the agenda.
Yes.
And that is, we have two scheduled members of the public tonight. One is Sierra Pratt, and the other person is Ken Estey. And because of the fact that we're trying to keep the numbers low in this room with people here, if we can make a motion to move the scheduled members of the public up to the space right after the approval of the minutes and the additions or amendments to the agenda, then we can have both of you speak about your concerns or the reason you're here, and then you'll be able to leave, and then we'll go on with our road foreman and administrative assistants. So can somebody make a motion to change the order, please?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. Any discussion about it? No. So that's approved. So the first thing is to have, ask if anybody has addition or amendments to the agenda right now.
I would like to speak on the swimming hole issue,
Okay.
the
So,
public safety.
yes. So how about doing that?
I don't care when it's done. so-
No, I know. I'm just looking. How about under new business?
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay. Or do you want it part of the road commissioner's report? We could do
It
that.
really has nothing to do with
No,
it.
no.
It's new
Okay, so
business.
under new business. Okay, swimming hole, Chris. Anybody else have addition or amendment? No. Okay, great. So we're moving down to the first item under selected members of the public. And we have Sierra Pratt here tonight.
No, we gotta prove it.
Motion to.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have to approve the minutes first. So,
Motion to move scheduled members of the public. I thought we were.
no, we didn't do the minutes.
We're just moving the people up first.
I'm sorry.
Oh, all right, I'm sorry.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Are we doing that, Winetta?
It's totally up to you, if you wanted to approve the minutes or just do the,
Okay, why don't we just approve the minutes and then we'll
I have
move
some
on.
concern about the minutes, so you might want to
Oh,
just take the
okay.
people.
All right, so we'll meet. Okay, we'll talk. Sorry about this. I'm using the heat as an excuse for my brain not working too much. Okay, so Sierra Pratt is our first person who's a scheduled member of the public. And Sierra is here because she has interest in a position of being bank reconciler. And that is a position that we have posted online on the town of Newfane line for the website. And it is a job that only must be done once a month. And it's to look at the bank statements that come in after Melissa does her report, her monthly report with the bank. And we need somebody other than the treasurer to go through the statements and make sure that they're correct. And if there are any things that have to be changed, that person would be communicating with the treasurer. And it basically takes about an hour, Melissa said. Melissa would do the training. And she said that basically it takes about an hour a month. And there is remuneration. Can you say it for me, please?
Remuneration.
Yeah,
Enumeration.
sorry. Of $50. It's a flat fee. And so Sierra has expressed interest in doing that. And so we're here to have you speak a little about yourself. And then if anybody on the board has a question or a comment, we would like to do that now. So can you introduce yourself? And when you're speaking, you can take your mask off so that we can understand you, if you feel comfortable doing it.
Okay, sure.
Thank
Sounds
you.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm Sarah Pratt. I live in Vermont. I've been cleaning this building and another building in Williamsville for over a year. So I've become familiar with the people who work here. I'm right now single mom of my 2 kids. And it just, with me being at home a lot, because that's what I do right now, especially with COVID. I was working at the school. Life just kind of took a turn for more craziness. So this would really benefit me, and I think benefit you all. I'm already familiar with the people here. I gave you a copy of my resume and a few references to look over. If you have any concerns or you want to know if I'm dependable or anything like that, people will go up to bat for me.
Okay, I just want to get 1 second, please. Okay. I would like to read your letter to the board, okay? And everybody has a copy, but I'll read it so that the public can hear too. And this is regarding the open bank reconciliation job, to whom it may concern. And this is from Sierra Pratt. I currently work for the town of Newfane, cleaning the town office building, and have been doing so for more than a year. I have understood that there is a bank reconciliation job available, and I am very interested. My attached resume outlines my in-depth experience and professional development. Having so much experience with children, schools, and being employed and residing on an Army post, I have completed my many background checks and have proven myself as trustworthy. I have a significant amount of personal experience with many different financial dealings. Math has always been my strong suit. I have maintained an excellent track record of success and punctuality and dependability, and I am confident that I would be an excellent match for your team. I have attached my resume for reference, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Sierra Pratt. And I just want to say that your letter is beautifully written, and thank you so much for that, for the board. On the next page is Sierra's resume. And I would like to hand this over to other members of the board right now and see if anybody has a question or comment for Sierra.
I do. You noted that there was significant amount of personal experience with different financial dealings. But I see on your resume that there's nothing listed here regarding any of that type of work other than childcare and child assistant, substitute teacher, after school program, nanny. So do you have, what experience do you have with finances?
As I noted, it was more based on personal. So moving with the Army, owning a house, refinancing, dealing with mortgage, dealing with fixing my property taxes, my own personal banking accounts, switching money over, double checking, every financial dealing of my own. The majority of my time working, employment has been with children, especially my husband was in the Army for 6.5 years. And so during that time, I was employed with kids until I got pregnant, and then he deployed. And I stopped working so I could be a mom. And then we got out of the Army and moved back here. And I was a stay-at-home mom while he was working. And I was dealing with everything at home. So pretty much all of that happened. Like I said, now I'm a single mom, where I take the role of that. Life has been a little crazy. So I was a stay-at-home mom, watching children at my house. And then life happened, put in a hard place, and got employed with a school. And did a lot of things that would work with my kids, their schedule. They could go to school, I could still bring them. This past year when my son was going to Manhattan, so I would drive him up. I'd wake up about 3:30 in the morning and I would get myself ready, bring him up, and then bring my daughter to preschool. And then I actually worked, and you'll see that in my resume, that I worked in the library for about 3.5 months. So I did have to, it's not totally Mac at all, but it was a computer system I needed to be trained on, learn how to do that, and manage classrooms, timing.
So you don't have any bookkeeping or accounting
Nope.
education or
I have
experience?
education on my own. I am self-taught with a lot of things. I've not been employed with that.
Because reconciliation, it's on a NIMRIC, or accounting system that's pretty
Yes.
advanced. So my concern is that it would be a big, you gotta really have to have a background in banking, or accounting or bookkeeping, I feel.
I know
Thank
that, thank you, Shelley, for that. I know that you had conversations with Melissa, the treasurer, about this position. And again, it's just like maybe 1.5 hours
Right.
once a month. And I know that she explained a lot of the job to you and you felt confident that you could do that.
Absolutely.
And also Melissa said that she would be training you. When Melissa spoke to you about the job, was there anything that you felt that you could not do, or did you feel pretty confident that you can learn this well?
No, I mean, honestly, I feel very confident. I have no problem with learning. The fact that maybe even that I am not trained on some things might actually work to my benefit, because sometimes to untrain somebody who thinks they know what they're doing might stand in the way. So I'm willing. I mean, we can also just try it out, and if I'm not doing my part, that's fine.
Okay, I do know from the people who work in this building that you seem to be a very responsible person, that you are very prompt with your job. I've actually seen you here. You do everything in the real detail. I never really had a chance to speak with you until recently, when I happened to be here when you were talking to Melissa. So that's my experience of you. And Chris or Mike, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, I mean, I'd almost be in favor of hiring her. I mean, it's not, like I said, you don't need a college degree to do it. I mean, I could tell you a lot of stories about myself too, about the whole thing. Well, I got in business and stuff too, but
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I know a lot of people that went to college that are doing total opposite of what they did do. And I think, she seems willing to do it and smart enough to do it, and I'd like to give it a try. I'd like to give her the chance.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. What about you, Chris?
Same, just exactly what Mike said.
Okay.
I know a real lot of people that went to college. They ended up in the ditch with a shovel.
Well, college isn't all that bad, but I mean, this is a big job. I know you guys aren't familiar. I know you do some bookkeeping or
I
accounting
did some bookkeeping.
review.
Like I said, I didn't know I'm going about myself, but
but you have to reconcile
I mean,
accounts.
I only went through 10th grade. And back then when I was in school, they had work programs. And I went on to a work program when I was 16. I went over to Haystack running backhoe because they needed somebody to run backhoe. Today's world, they wouldn't let a 16-year-old kid do that.
Yeah,
But I went and did it. So I come back to high school and I wanted to go back on the work program after being 2 weeks in school.
Mhm.
And back then, the principal, there was 8 of us that day, left us high school the same day. He says, well, the way I look at it, you guys are either going to be loggers, construction workers, whatever the industry was in Vermont at that time. He says, you guys all seem to know what you're doing. I think you have to start right now. And I did. And I've never looked back. And I do millions of dollars worth of business a year now in my own company. I handle a lot of money. I do a lot of things and a lot of transactions, a lot of stuff. And I never finished my high school. So,
I mean,
but at that time, that was the thing. And I said, people need chances. Because a lot of people can't afford to go to colleges, can't afford a lot of this stuff. And it isn't like we're looking to spend $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year or anything like that. This is just a part-time position right now.
but it's a
And it could turn into something a lot bigger for her
millions
later
of
on down the line.
dollars of business. But
Well, it's millions
anyways,
of
I went
dollars.
to
Right.
VOTEC school too, and I went out to college and got a degree in management.
Right. No, that's
And
good. I mean, that's what I
accounting.
say. Some people do, but I mean, I've known a lot of people that right in this valley that have made millions and really been successful over the years. A lot of the old timers that never got through grade school because they had to go to work. A
absolutely.
lot of the people that had a lot of big properties around, all over this valley. And they said that, but that's the way it was. They had their chance and they went and did it and they made it work. Same with all of us.
Sierra, you raise your hand.
If I may add, the majority of what I'm finding by speaking with Melissa and hearing more about the job, like we are stating, it's probably about an hour, $50 we're talking about. I do understand the seriousness of it. I think what it sounds like to me is that it's more based on how dependable and responsible and trustworthy that I would be. And that's why pretty much my resume and my references outline that, and that has been my entire life, has fulfilled that. Another thing just to state is that my mother does all the bookkeeping and has for 25 years for my dad, who has his own business here in Newfane. He's an electrician. She does not have a college degree. My sister, Shira, over in Dover, does the bookkeeping for her husband, who has his own business, crafts carpentry. And she does not have a college degree. So they teach themselves, they learn how to do the different computer systems, and they just educate themselves, or they reach out to other people and learn from experience. And on one other notice, another point is, not to get into my personal life, but I've done a lot of lawyer type work because I'm also trying to save myself lots of money. Lawyers are expensive, but I have 2 children who I'm protecting. And so I am saving a lot of time and money by doing a lot of things myself. And that goes into a lot of things. And there's a lot of math, a lot of accounts, a lot of proving and making sure everything lines up. And if any penny is lost, it doesn't look good. Any attention to detail is not accurate, then it doesn't look good. So I do understand the severity.
Well, I think that I'm very much in favor of having you have this job. And it's not up to me, it's up to the board. But I do totally agree that this is a very important job where somebody needs to be very serious about it, needs to be very committed about it, needs to be punctual, because as Melissa told you recently, it has to be done by a deadline every month. And I think she asked you if that is something you're able to do to meet a deadline. And the truth is, the job is about an hour and a half a month. And you will have Melissa as your trainer, and she's absolutely great. We all are very impressed with Melissa as a treasurer.
She does the reconciling right here, so if she has any questions.
Yeah. So I must say that I am in agreement with Mike and Chris, and I totally understand Shelley's point of view. If this were a full-time job opening and has to have certain requirements of higher education, first of all, you
It's not
wouldn't be
even higher
here.
education, it's about having experience with reconciling and
Yeah, but
handling accounts.
those kind of jobs that you are referring to, usually people have higher education.
I'm not against anyone learning.
No, I know. So I'd like to know, well, Mike, you've spoken, Shelley, you've spoken, Chris.
I make a motion to hire her.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
I'm just looking out for the best interest of the town.
Yeah, well, I think we all look for the best interest. We really do. And it's okay that we have different points of view. So can we take a vote, please? We have a motion to hire Sierra Pratt as a reconciliation person once a month. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. And I'm going to say aye also. So in this case, the ayes have it, and we look forward to hiring you. You'll be in touch with Melissa, and you'll start your training, and then she'll give you all the information, and I don't know when the first deadline is, but she'll tell you everything.
I will check in with her.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for coming, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good evening, and be well.
No, go that way and then around to the front. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to go back up to the beginning of the
So
agenda,
we got
and that,
planning commission, Ken Estey.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Chris?
We got Ken Estey.
Did you want to stay for the whole meeting, Ken?
Yeah, I can stay for the whole meeting.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, as long as the numbers are right, you know.
Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that make you feel comfortable
Oh,
to
no
stay?
problem at all.
Okay, great. So then we'll be with you a little later.
Mhm.
So we are now up to road foreman and road.
Oh, approve the
Minutes.
Oh, right, we didn't do that. Oh, sorry. Can I go home and start again? Walk back in the door and start again. Okay, approval of the minutes. And that is the July 6th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to
I'll make
approve?
a motion and second.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any, oh, you said that you have,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I noted on the minutes, typographical and grammar.
I think you're gonna have to speak a little louder.
There's quite a few things that I've noted on the minutes, highlighted these as either grammatical or inconsistencies, misspellings.
Grammatical.
Well, yeah. So, again,
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, Shelley is concerned because she has highlighted things that in the minutes that need correction, whether it's a period or a comma, some grammatical errors. And so I assume that she's saying that you don't want to pass, you don't want to
I'm not gonna
approve
pass
it.
it. I'm
You're
not gonna
not
approve it, but I mean, there's other inaccuracies about it, you know.
Okay. How does everybody else feel about
I mean,
it?
I read them.
Mike?
So what is it? What is it, then?
It's just, you know, errors and different misspellings or not complete written names.
You like me to start.
So can we approve them with your corrections? That way she can just give her the minutes and then be
We
corrected.
could do that.
What did you say, Mike?
Approve the minutes with Shelley giving her,
The amended minutes.
Huh?
Yeah, amend the minutes as corrected by her.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
The only question I had on here, which I wanted to have noted, was the sheriff's contract. We did not approve it because of the fact that they didn't have services after 8 o'clock. I think that was the bigger concern. Do you guys recall?
Yeah,
Well, they didn't really do it like we wanted them to do. State cops travel the back roads and they've been doing a good job, we thought, you know, so.
Right.
I mean, they're not out just stopping people out here. They're doing a little bit of speeding.
I think there was also the contract, they would not do any services after 8 o'clock.
Possible, I mean, this is,
So I just wanted to make a note of that. I mean, if somebody questioned why we made that decision.
if they figure the crooks, I'll go home at 8.
it said that the state troopers were voted in because we decided that it was in the best interest of the residents of Newfane.
Right.
A request of the Vermont state trooper, but we don't have to, I mean, it was written that we chose them because we felt that between the sheriff's office and the
Well,
state
I would
trooper.
just have you check that on the video or whatever. Because I
Check
think
what?
that's important to include so that we have it as a reference.
We have a file referencing
Yeah,
both
we have that.
contracts in the file cabinet with the contract for 2020-21, and it shows the differences.
Right, but I think that was a bigger concern was the fact that their contract didn't go past 8 o'clock at night.
I just, that's what I said, give it to her, she can
Yeah.
do it as amended to what you got wrote.
I've
Yes,
got one
Chris?
thing to say about the minutes.
Yes,
We've been through this years past. When the minutes are taken, if the punctuation's off something, it's the intent of the way it is. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect.
Well, it's her job to have it grammatical
well,
and spelled correct, you know.
You know,
things in
that's
format.
the way I've been through this before. And that's what's been brought up. So,
Well, you can
take it for
look,
what
you
it's worth.
can, you know, you can look at it. I mean, there's
I
misspellings
understand
and
what you're saying.
there's misspellings and whatnot, so.
Shelley, would you like to come in and offer to work with her and edit her work?
No, because I feel it's her job to do that.
Well, it is. She's writing a report and then,
No, I honestly, I don't.
All right, we've already made the motion
Outside.
as
to accept it.
amended.
Okay. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of the administrative assistant, please say aye.
Aye,
As
As amended.
amended.
as amended.
As amended.
Aye.
Okay, anybody say nay? Okay, we're moving along to, oh, that was the minutes. Okay, road foreman and road commissioners report. Jay and Christopher.
Daniel's Construction has begun work on Monroe Bridge, and I was up there again today, and they weren't working today, but the roads down in there, they're able to get to all the concrete work that they need to, so they're coming along good. The Wiswall Hill Road site that Scott Jensen came and looked at, it came back that it requires a 10-foot wide, 7-foot high structure. After doing a hydraulic study where there's an old stone culvert. We've had trouble over the years, twice that I can remember, where we've lost Bench Road because the culvert wasn't adequate. So he also would like to put a flood table on the opposite side of the stream, so the water has a place to expand rather than come out into the road. So it's all stuff that would be eligible for a mitigation grant, which would be a year's process more than likely to do. I just want to know if you want to keep going in that direction and try to get a mitigation grant.
I would think we would, yeah.
Yeah,
The Depot Road box culvert easements have had some changes by the state, and they're being reviewed by Bob Fisher, but since then they've been rewritten by Bob Fisher, so we now have them back. And I think as soon as the state gives us the go-ahead, he's gonna contact the landowners and set up a time to get them to sign them. The sand salt shed project doesn't have much new. I'm in the process of getting the town permit filed now. The safety and hazardous materials plan for the garage is complete. We're now going to schedule training. I will have some expenses for the flammable liquids cabinet and some other personal protective equipment that we're going to have to need to buy. And the last of the safety signs for Williamsville have been installed. So I think that's everything from the traffic safety audit that's been completed on Dover Road. So.
Oh, really?
Signage, the painting of the speed limits and so forth, everything has been done off the safety audit. So I'd say this fall, possibly do another speed count with Interregional and just see if we're seeing any changes from one year to the next after doing everything. So, I think that's it. There's a couple other things that came up, and I'm trying to blank as to what they were right now, but I think that's it.
Thank you, Jay.
I'd like to make a motion to change the way this is going, because Johnny and Larry are here, and that is to do with the roads.
Oh, it does? Okay,
Yes.
so you're saying that subject should come up now under, yes?
I just have a comment regarding the traffic control issues, and I think that we should, as a board, give the person over in Williamsville, Dover Road, a heads up as to that you have completed everything that was recommended by the state. So it's official, it's not in question, and they have it in black and white.
They can come here if they want to know.
Yeah, I can actually send the three of them an email if you want. There's one for each village.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great, thank you.
That's all right.
to tie it up so that they know we've done
Yeah.
what we
Okay,
needed to
good.
do regarding the state requirements.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, you
good.
mentioned that we'll try to get them to do a speed study again this fall, just to see how things are coming.
I think so. Are you guys in agreement with that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, so,
I do have one other question.
yes,
Sunset Lake Road, I think Kenny Pond?
Guinea pond, yeah.
I was up there a few weeks ago and there was a hole right alongside the bridge that goes across the spill out, right on the edge. It looked like somebody had taken a truck and they went too close to the edge.
Okay.
So I didn't know if anyone had checked it or
I'll go look at it.
it looked pretty. I pulled the metal hole out a little further so people wouldn't get so close.
that bank is starting to
Yeah,
go down,
yeah.
and we're in the process of trying to get it fixed.
But I'm just worried between now and getting it fixed, just at nighttime or
All
whatever.
has to do with money.
I'll take a look at it tomorrow.
Okay.
okay. So given that we have scheduled member of the public, no,
Mary,
I don't,
can we get a motion to accept the report first and then
I'll
continue?
make a
with it?
motion.
oh, okay, and then we'll,
Thank
okay.
you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the road foreman and the road commissioner's report, please say aye.
Uh,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, and we accept, and thank you, Chris, and thank you, Jay, very much. So now we have, John Morrison here? Hi, good to see you here. And Larry Gould. And we have added you to the agenda because you had spoken to Renetta, I think, earlier today. And given that this is related to roads, as you say, we would like to hear from you now. And may I say something? When you're speaking here,
You take the mask off?
yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah,
That doesn't hurt my feelings.
okay.
We're here to get permission to improve a town trail at the end of Griswold Hill Road. It's about 1,000 feet down to the town line. And beyond the town line, there is no road. It is now a chasm that big as this room. And it's now all privately owned from Newfane's town line to all the way to Townsend, now privately owned property.
Always do
The
it.
town of Townsend deeded it to Eamon DeWitt back 15, 20 years ago. And Mr. DeWitt has sold his property to another landowner now. And Mr. Gould is purchasing a portion of that property.
I don't have a problem fixing the road. The only thing is, seeing it's a trail, you can't stop the public from going down.
Don't have
That's the only thing. As far as the rest of it goes, I don't have a problem with you, Jay.
No, I went up and looked at it today.
No, there's no.
I mean, I spoke to both Jay and Chris about this before we came.
Oh, good.
I did call Mark Dickering just to double check that we were doing things right, and as long as it doesn't affect anybody else's access to it or property, then it's fine for the selectmen to approve it.
Is it a trailer?
Yeah,
Class
It's a
4?
legal trail.
Trail.
is it,
Trail from where we plow.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Jay, I went to Jay's office and looked it up, it's definitely a town trail.
So is that
And
past,
it's about a little over 1,000 feet from the end of the town maintained road.
Oh,
is that past Dennis and
It-
Dennis
way
Wiswell's
out.
house? And yeah, I drove out there and it kind of dead ended into a couple of trails or something.
A couple of the-
Well, you could already got through into Townsend, right?
Right.
So that would be open to the public?
Yeah,
And you guys are just
I don't know where they go.
two fellows that just want to do it?
They're gonna come from off the dead end when they
No, they
get
own
to
some
when
land.
they get to Newfane town line, they're
Okay.
gonna have to get a big surprise.
So you
No
own,
road.
you own land where the trail is that you're talking about?
And purchase it in Townsend.
Oh,
The land's in Townsend, not in Newfane. The only access is from Newfane,
oh, I see.
oh.
because there is no road on the other end.
So is it for access for housing or something?
They don't want an access.
Just for trail walking?
It's none of our business. They want an access to go down, to fix the trail up. Because the work that's gonna be done, most of it, isn't gonna be in Townsend. It has nothing to do with the town of Newfane. Am I making any sense to you, Shelley?
They're here today asking, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Well, it could be, it could have something to do with Newfane too, which I can see her asking in one sense, I mean, too. I mean, say if you built a house on there, and then if you wanted to bring it up to the same condition the town would have their road in, the town could take it over. That 1,000 feet.
You'd have to come back to the town to do that.
No, I said you hadn't, but I'm just saying, not just that, the other people now that's going down along that road, you know, if they want to chip in and help put the road up to a certain spec,
There's only
I get-
only one landowner, so.
but that gives that guy more access to his property too, if he wanted to do something. So, I mean,
It's Kindle Farm School, so I'm not sure they're gonna do a
No.
lot up there.
so I mean, I don't know if you guys are planning on put a house in there or not eventually, or just using it for logging for, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just saying,
Who knows?
if you ever did do a house down there and the guy wanted it into town specs, I mean, it was a town road at one time,
It would be up, but it would be up to him to bring it up to town specs too.
whoever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
down, I mean, all we're asking for is just to have.
Permission to fix it up right
To
now.
fix it up enough to get down there to the land and back.
And may I ask you who pays for that? You do,
The man who buys the land.
okay.
That's why I was wondering if it was a trail or class 4, if that was a class 4, the town would be responsible for the culverts.
Yeah.
Right. But I got some land that had a class 4 road on it too, and the town was responsible for all the culverts. They're supposed to be able, somebody's supposed to be able to drive over that road at least once a year. But it's a trail.
Both Chris and Jay looked it up and it's definitely a town trail.
Any further comments or questions?
I'd make a motion, give them permission, to go ahead and fix it up for what they're using it for.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. No further questions, so then we can vote. All those in favor of giving permission, please say aye.
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 Now, will one of us get a letter from the town in writing with that
Are you
permission?
asking?
I'm asking.
My lawyer says I need one.
Wait, we just have to say,
Have the letter write Johnny a letter.
yes, and we will write a letter to
And
you,
you'll have
John.
to sign
No,
on the chair.
no, I would write to Mr. Gould.
Yeah, and the
Address it to
select
you.
board, and you need the select board signature and approval.
I make a
Okay.
motion that Mary signs the letter.
In writing, you want to do writing.
Okay,
Yes.
so he made a motion to ask me to sign. Is there a second for that?
Oh, sign it?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay. Can we vote on that? Is it okay if
Yep.
the chair signs the permission? Okay, thank you. So Vanetta will probably write the letter and I'll work with her on that and I'll have it signed.
Okay, you can just drop off my office next door.
Okay, I know where you are.
You can save yourself a stamp.
That's right. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming
Thank you.
and have a good evening and be safe. Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Okay,
Can I just do one more road thing quick?
sure.
Just thought of- At the end of Cushing Flats Road, there's a very small bridge. I got a call today that they're gonna try to do some logging out there. It's shorter than 20 feet, so the state doesn't inspect them. So I told them, to the best of my knowledge, it was up to them to have an engineer come in and see if that bridge is adequate to run a log truck across. I don't believe it's the town's responsibility, but I just wanted to double check with you guys. That sounds right to you, Mike?
Where is that? By that pond, out beyond that
Oh,
pond?
yeah.
I went out
Straight
there.
up.
Out by that camp, out at the end.
I went all the way out there the other day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Get your own, ain't you?
Yeah, I did around. All
I
the
don't
dirt
think that
roads.
bridge would hold a log.
I don't
truck right
either,
now.
so I told him that I would think he'd wanna get an engineer, have the logger get an engineer to make sure, or, I know that one of the bridges, they put cribbing under to do the logging and then pulled it,
Figure that out.
but to my knowledge, it wasn't the town's responsibility to do it. I believe that's correct, I just wanted to.
Right.
Is there like an antique road or bridge kind of law? Is that what you're saying for the state? If
The
it's-
state won't inspect them shorter than 20 feet. They inspect all our other bridges every other year. The short ones, they won't do. So it's up to us if we ever need to decide if it's safe or not, it would be up to us to get an engineer to inspect it. But when somebody wants to use it for logging, it was my understanding it was always their
Like
responsibility.
a commercial
to
enterprise?
prove this, yeah.
I think we planked it once years ago, if I remember right.
So, all right, so that's, well, I just want to make sure.
Is that bridge before the house at the end?
Couple hundred feet before.
Yeah, I kind of remember it.
Jay, who's doing the logging or does it matter?
I don't know.
What is that?
George
pond
Weir's
out there?
the forester.
What's the pond out there?
Pond?
Yeah.
Oh, they made that years ago. I don't know.
What are you saying?
There's a pond out there. I wondered what the pond was all about.
That
It
goes
seems-
with that property on the right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice pond.
it's a what?
It's a fairly nice pond out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's a house up and behind it.
A lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So that's a private property, right?
The old colonel owned that.
So, we're up to approving the road foreman and road commissioner's report.
We already did that, Mary.
We approved it?
Yes,
I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
The treasurer's report.
I mean, maybe we ought to, before we jump off that bridge there, maybe we ought to just have them town rep present a letter after you see the chapter guy.
What was that?
Maybe what we should do is have the town write them a letter too, on their bridges, telling them they're responsible for that bridge.
Yeah,
Let me figure out who's actually gonna do the work or whatever, and then I'll go from there.
because literally that's only
That way they
good
don't
for
go through it.
16,000 anyway.
Right, that way they don't go through it, come back after us.
Okay, the next item is the treasurer's report. Melissa's not here, so we'll get that next time. So now we're up to Ken Estey. And Ken Estey is here to discuss an issue for the planning commission. And welcome, Ken, it's good to see you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here, as always. So, the issue is actually good news, and the good news is that Nolan Edgar has expressed interest in joining the planning commission. And Nolan Edgar spoke with Lynn Forrest about the planning commission, and I spoke with Nolan on Sunday. I lost track now. Saturday or Sunday, over the weekend.
Anyway,
And Nolan has also written a letter to the select board indicating his interest, and that will come up in correspondence. But the point now would be, I'm introducing Nolan, and I believe that it's okay then to make a phone call. Lynetta and I talked to Nolan right now to represent himself
Oh, okay.
as a potential member of the planning commission, as at least a way for you to get to know him, at least this way, with the possibility that we could vote on his, that you could vote to appoint him, or come up with the next step so that we could get to that point if you feel that that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Hi, is this Nolan?
Well, thank you, Ken. How many people are on the board right now?
We have 3 on the planning commission right now, and it's a 5-member commission. So in order to have quorum, we need 3 members.
Right.
And quorum has been a very severe challenge of late. So the planning commission has been on some of the hiatus.
Okay.
So
it's
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
So, Nolan, can you hear me? This is Ken Estey.
Yes, I can hear you off in the distance.
Okay, so I have to stay at a distance, but Nolan, you are officially on the table of the select board meeting, so I'll turn to Mary.
Okay, well, welcome, Nolan. I'm Marion Dowling, and we have Chris and Mike and Shelley here, members of the select board, and we would like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are interested in being part of the planning commission. If you could tell us
Sure.
that would be great. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Nolan Edgar. I grew up here in Newfane, and I've lived here most of my life. I moved away to Georgia for a couple of years. I moved back maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I live right over by the flea market on Golden Woods there. And I work in Brattleboro. I'm a content manager for Brattleboro Community Television. And shout out to Austin Rice, who I believe is in the room, filming for us right now. And let's see. Why do I want to participate? I've been interested in helping out on the local government level for a while. I watched all the meetings with BCTV. I'm a part of those meetings. I've been in Newfane filming. Some of you may recognize me from that. And I feel like I'm ready. I'm at a point where I have the time to participate to help out. I know that a a lot of local boards don't have the volunteers that they need to help out with this work. And I would be happy to help and contribute in a constructive way to the work of the Planning Commission and the town as a whole. I'm looking forward to learning and such as.
Well, I welcome you. I'm Shelley Huber, and sounds.
Sorry, I can't hear you speaking.
Oh, I'm Shelley Huber.
Hi, Shelley.
We have masks on, the shields. So just welcome, and you're a videographer, correct?
Yes, I'm also a videographer, but I work for Brattleboro Community Television in kind of an office tech
Okay.
position.
Well, we might be interested in also talking to you about video screens and stuff, maybe, too, for
Sure.
plans for the office, to be able to have internet connection and
Yeah, and I think I could be helpful in that way too.
yeah. So that's a plan that we have talked about. So that's all I have to say.
Mike?
Well, I think it's good that somebody from town wants to be on the planning
Yes.
commission. Younger people is what we need, so.
Yes.
He's lived in town different times and stuff, and I welcome him to the board. I recommend we put him on it.
Yes.
I second that.
Yes, and I would like to say that the Planning Commission is a very important, comprised of a very confident and very committed group of people in Newfane, with Ken Estey and Lynn Forrest, who was on it, and is she still
Remains.
on it?
Yeah.
Is Bob McCandless still on it? And I think it's a very challenging commission to be on, and they really do tremendous amount of work and contribute a lot to the town of Newfane. So for me, it would be wonderful for them to have you there, given that you are a Newfane person and that you know the town and that you work in Brattleboro and you're very local and very interested. So I also would recommend you highly. Ken?
So, Nolan's longtime residency here in Newfane is absolutely critical to the Planning Commission, especially as it's currently composed. While not casting aspersions on anyone from outside Newfane, it is the case that to a person, we are not longtime residents of Newfane, and so we would absolutely welcome that perspective.
Yeah.
And he would then become our fourth member of the Planning Commission, and we seek yet one more Planning Commissioner to have a full slate. So we're very excited with Nolan's interest, for sure.
Shelley? Thank you.
So as far as the slate goes, I mean, those are commissioners on the, is it commissioners?
Yeah, to be more precise, right, each of us would be deemed a commissioner, and we have different terms of office. For instance, Bob and I, we are the year 2020, and Lynn, I think, is 2019. So it's phased in.
It's
I think ideally there's a phasing in of all five, but the way things have been going of late, this is how we are now.
Now, can there be other people at large in that committee or
My
commission?
understanding is that it's up to the select board if the select board were to be interested in officially expanding the number of seats on the commission. So right now it's, I don't know where it's codified or where it's spelled out, but right now it's 5. The select board could say at its pleasure go to 7, for instance, if it wanted to. But for lack of expanding it officially, naturally, at any planning commission meeting, members of the public are welcome. Not only are they welcome, but they could also be put to work on committees of the planning commission.
That's what I was going to say, committees Yes.
Yeah, for instance, if there was a project on enhanced energy planning, for instance, and people were interested in enhanced energy planning through the Wyndham Regional Commission, then that would be a great place for someone to serve. But said people would not have a voting capacity, nor would they satisfy the quorum requirements, which
Okay.
is really where we're at right now, is satisfying the quorum requirements.
What are you working on right now? Anything specific?
Yes, the specific thing right now is looking at the town plan in relationship to COVID-19 and COVID-19 recovery. So we're not really at liberty as a commission to do really too much more than what's in the town plan.
Yeah.
Which is rather capacious itself, but the real question I think all of us are facing is, what does a town plan mean now in the face of COVID and COVID-19 recovery? And our next meeting that's what we'll discuss.
And to actually take that plan and apply it,
And
or
think about it in those
massage
terms.
it and make it work.
Right. and
So
then
it's not just a pile of papers.
Well, that's right. And then bring those results to the select board. But I would say this, some of the pending work though, in specific pending work, I had to do with enhanced energy planning, which would be an amendment to the town plan, working with the Wyndham Regional Commission. The other pending issue has been the whole question about short-term rentals.
Mhm.
And the third thing, I would say, floodplain resiliency, which would be a bylaw consideration, working with the DRB, which affords the town some savings if, forbid the thought, we were to face another flood event. We would have more monies available from the state if we had that kind of floodplain resiliency planning.
Planning, yeah.
Well, I would like to have Nolan be voted in right now. And also, Nolan, once you're accepted into the planning commission, it would be great to meet you in person. And
Sure.
perhaps you can come to a meeting as soon as you can, with or without Ken, and this way we'll know who you are.
We'll get you on camera.
Okay,
Yes, I did too.
can somebody make a motion, please?
I make a motion to accept Nolan Egger as a new planning commissioner.
I'll second.
Okay,
Chris seconds it.
any further conversation or discussion? All those in favor of Nolan Edgar becoming a member of the planning commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, so Nolan, you are now officially part of the planning commission, and we thank you so much for stepping up. And you will be surrounded by great people,
Yes.
and they'll be very happy to have you with them.
Thank you. And I look forward to getting started.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nolan.
Okay, we're
Bye,
gonna
everyone.
We're gonna
Goodbye.
hang up now, okay, Nolan? And please come in person and meet us, okay?
I will.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
evening. Bye-bye.
So I just had one other small item by way of an announcement that the Vermont Council on Rural Development is hosting a Zoom meeting this Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30 on Wyndham County and COVID-19 recovery. And the themes will be everything from childcare and family issues to housing to the arts and nonprofits, as well as business and business development. So I guess what I could do is give the information to
Whenever.
Winetta and/or Bauman to post on the website so that people can know how to gain access to this meeting that the state of Vermont and the Vermont Council on Rural Development is putting together for this Thursday. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and
Sure.
I think we all look forward to meeting Nolan now.
Yeah, likewise. Yes.
You haven't met him?
I've only talked to him on the phone, as I said, so, yeah. But both Lynn and I talked to them, and
Yeah.
Well, you know what, we're lucky that at this time when everybody's going through difficulties with the virus and jobs and everything, that people are willing to step up and contribute their time and their talents to the town, and we very much appreciate that.
oh yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for finding him and bringing him to us.
Yeah, Lynn was very instrumental in bringing on Lynn as well.
Right.
So she had the initial conversations with him.
Good, well, thank her also.
Sure.
Okay, so we are now on to old business.
No, administrative assistant report.
Oh, Renetta. Thank you, Chris. Everything is sort of. Renetta, you have your report?
I assisted the DRB Development Review Board with the legal notices and mailing letters for the public hearing that they will be holding on July 30th, 2020 at 6:30. This will be a Zoom meeting, and those interested in attending can call the town office at 365-7772, extension 4 for the Zoom information. The applicant is seeking approval for changes of use from part-time residence to wellness retreat and nature retreat at the 25 Moss Hollow Road in Newfane. I have updated drafts of 2 policies for the board to review. The first is the financial policy. These changes will include the Newfane does not accept wire transfers as acceptable forms of payment. This is due to the federal regulations under the Bank Secrecy Act and OFAC, the Office of Foreign Asset Control. And the second is the animal control policy that has not been updated in a number of years. I've made contact with the applicants that have requested special appropriations but had not requested receiving them. The treasurer needed these requests in order to close out and balance the books, and you will find the last of them in tonight's accounts payable. The company that does the random drug testing changed their name from Occupational Drug Testing. They are now called DISA Global Solution, and they are out of Manchester, New Hampshire. I needed to re-register the town and the highway crew. This information is in the DER, which is the Designated Employee Representative folder in the files. I am that DER person. Just as a reminder, at the Selectboard meeting on July 6th, the bids that were received did not receive any formal notification of the results of any disposal of property. Is this something that you would like to request tonight for the record?
Start with number 1. I assisted the DDR with legal notices and the applicant seeking approval for change of use. for
Any
parking.
questions about Renetta's report? Or comments?
All right, so what is it they're looking for now? On the land that they sold?
Usually when you open and accept bids, the
Right,
select board will request a letter being sent on bids that are accepted, such as when the gravel bid is taken. If there's multiple bidders, the others are notified that their bid was either rejected or approved.
Mhm.
This was not done with the properties,
Right.
even though there was 2 properties that were both bid on.
right,
There was one that was declined. The
right.
select board did not request it, nor did the treasurer assume that this needed to be done. So there's no recording or record of what you accepted other than in the minutes.
Well, when I was talking to Melissa about it earlier, she said that Bobby Fisher is drawing up something for that stuff.
He's drawing up the quick claim deeds, but that doesn't notify the ones that were rejected.
Yeah, so I guess probably we better do that then.
That'd be a proper thing to do.
Yes.
And the one that was awarded the bid knows he's been awarded the bid, right? Did Melissa do that, or?
Melissa did that, and she did let the others know, but there's nothing formal other than the phone call that she received.
Right.
Does the select board find that acceptable and enough of a notification?
So thank you.
Should be in
Saying
writing.
Should be in writing.
And put in the file, I
Yeah.
suppose, too, you know? That should be standard.
Right.
Yeah, probably because that one that we got the $300 bid on it was 7,000. But eventually should go back out to bid.
Right, keep track of that. That needs to be resolved.
Any other questions or comments about Juaneta's report? Excuse me. Okay, is there a motion?
Accept it.
Okay,
I'll second it.
second. Any further conversation or discussion? All those in favor of accepting Juaneta's report, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Juaneta.
So would you like me to send that out, or would you like Melissa to send the letter?
Why don't you talk to Melissa and work it out with
Okay.
who would be more appropriate, okay? Thank you. Okay. So now we're on old business. Review updated financial policy, check for internal control. Do we have that?
The only thing that was changed on the financial policy was under the cash receipts, petty cash, return check policy. I now included the wire transfer, which is the same thing I mentioned in the treasurer's report in regards to the Bank Secrecy Act and the OFAC.
You mean in the administrative report,
I'm sorry, yes,
right?
yes.
So there were two things, that's what I was kind of looking at, the two policies. And the first was the financial policy, with the no wire transfers allowed. And that's just a across the board kind of municipality type of ruling.
Because there's a federal regulations and there's terrorist acts and all of that, it becomes very complicated, because if you were to send a wire to Mr. Fitzpatrick, your identification goes through a system, his identification goes through a system. We're not qualified, we're not capable of doing that here.
Okay. I'm just,
Yeah,
I think I brought that up or
Yeah,
something,
you did.
wasn't it? The wire,
well, it's part of Melissa's internal control thing, that's why we had to table this to change the policy,
okay,
so that you guys could accept that.
okay. And the second was the animal control policy that has not been updated in a number of years, so,
Since 2004,
okay, so do we have that to review?
yes, you should have gotten it in your emails, but I also have a copy here.
I don't think I have.
No, I didn't get it.
I can go and make copies. Do you mind double-sided?
No,
I think I see it.
Huh?
That's one of the ones I did pick up on.
did you see it? Out of all of them, you saw that one.
Oh, I see it. Came in my trash mail.
Oh, no. I guess you can't really hear outside the stuff. This mask stops the sound from going out too.
Yeah, it does.
I guess. I hear you, but maybe projection wise it's not.
Well, I can hear it. That speaker is probably pretty powerful, so.
I think when you lifted yours before to speak louder,
Yeah.
I heard you much better than.
Yeah.
than-
It's kind of muffled, I guess. It's our first night with the masks.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Yeah, when I came in, I'm like, no. I said, well, I get it, you know. Doing a select board meeting, you know.
It helps to breathe.
Yeah,
Breathing is good.
it sure is.
For us older people.
That's right. All of us ancients.
Were you going to talk about the rental housings under new business? I think that's what you wrote, and you said we needed to bring it up.
Stabilization program, Vermont State Housing Authority. We have a copy of it, don't we? It's really bringing it to people's attention.
Yeah,
I
Thank
don't
you.
know if I have a copy of it.
I'd make a motion with table this and go on next meeting.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I think that's a good idea. This way we have time to read it and look it over.
We don't have an animal control officer anyway, right?
I'm temporary acting animal control officer for other duties as a son.
It's pretty intense. Now, did I hear?
Wait, so we have I'll second your motion to put it off till next time. Is there any discussion about that motion, to table it till next time?
Are you tabling both of them or just the animal control?
Both of them.
Both of them,
Thank you.
okay. All in
You're the
favor?
animal control officer now?
I'm temporary until we find somebody.
Okay. I would like that damn bear to go away from my house, please.
Domestic animals, sir. I'm a domestic animal control officer.
Eat a hole right through my brain.
Oh my God. All those in favor of tabling this until our August 3rd meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? So Juanetta, you'll put this on the agenda, please, for next
Yes.
week, and thank you.
And duly noted that we're looking for animal control person for the town. It's not Renetta's job.
Domestic animal.
Domestic animal.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
Sometimes I do, too, with a bear. Somebody died.
so Shelley, did you want to talk about the rental housing
Did you give me a copy
stabilization?
of that? Is it in our packet here?
What?
The rental housing or?
I can't find it in my packet. Maybe you,
Oh, I have it here. I have it.
oh, you do?
Yeah, I know
What
what it
is
is.
this one?
I,
Here's an extra copy.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Chris.
Chris,
So basically, for the town, this came from the Wyndham Regional Commission as a note. Dear town officials and WRC commissioners, I am a commissioner, but I'm forwarding this information to pass along, passed along to us by the Wyndham and Windsor Housing Trust. Please share it widely and within your respective communities. Thank you. So there's funding for relief programs for renters and homeowners experiencing hardships due to COVID-19, and they're opening up on Monday, July 13th. The applications will be online. Information on the rental stabilization program and the Vermont COVID Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program are below in this document. More information will be posted on the VHFA and the VSHA websites. Please keep checking them and we'll keep you updated as more information is released and shared widely. So The VSHA is the Vermont State Housing Authority, and the another acronym is the RHSP, and it's the Rental Housing Stabilization Program. And it's for funding landlords on behalf of tenants in need of rental arrearage assistance. This program will provide the VSHA payment standard or actual amount due for the month or months being claimed, whichever is less, per household at a single unit who meet eligibility criteria. And the goal of this program is to prevent homelessness and to provide housing stability. The program is funded through Vermont's allocation of the Federal Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act. VSHA will begin receiving applications July 13th from tenants and or landlords on a rolling basis. The funding is first come, first serve. More information will be posted as to dates and eligibility after July 13th. So there's also Vermont Housing Finance Agency will soon begin to accept applications for the Vermont COVID Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program. The program, which is funded through the Federal CARES Act, will help Vermont homeowners facing economic hardship brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. This program is available to all Vermonters, not just those who have mortgages funded through VHFA home mortgage programs. So I think it's really important that people understand that they're struggling with housing payments, either way, rental or mortgages, that there is a state program that can assist people. And please share it with everyone. And eligibility, Vermont homeowners of property that is their primary residence are behind on their primary mortgage due to COVID-related financial hardship, have entered into the mortgage prior to March 1st, 2020, an income limit and additional requirements apply to be announced. So the VHFA intends to prioritize applicants with lower incomes, but given the limited amount of funds and the limited time to review applications and distribute awards, there's no assurance that any individual application will be funded. So applications will be received through the VHFA's website. And this came from the Home Matters here, from Wyndham and Windsor Housing Trust. Viva Chris Campany, from Executive Director of the Wyndham Regional Commission. I think it's really important information for those that are struggling.
And
Right
Winetta, is that also something that you put on the Town of Newfane website?
I did.
Yes, so thank you very much, Shelley, for bringing that in, and it's certainly very important.
Yes.
So anybody, well,
Just that we're still struggling, people
of
are
course,
still struggling, even though we've managed to sort of come back to normalcy in our lives in some manner, but there are people still struggling. Actually, the other day I was going up to Townsend and there was the food bank food truck at Leland and Gray, and they were forming a line down Route 30. So they were giving out free food. So it's still a huge problem for people.
so anybody who is interested in applying, please check the Town of Newfane website where you can see it in writing and you can take your time taking notes and getting the information. And thank you again for bringing that up.
No problem.
Okay. Next item is employee annual reviews. And normally, employees get reviewed once a year. And this year, I can only speak for it since I've been back on the board. This year, because of COVID, a lot of things have been put on hold. And we weren't meeting in person, and a lot of difficulties were occurring with a lot of us. And so it's sort of past due that we do annual reviews. Winetta and I did a review of Merle Tessier? Yeah,
Tessier.
Tesla.
Is it Tesla?
Yeah.
Cashier, I think,
Tessier?
Tessier.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
believe.
Zoning administrator.
I'm
So
sorry, but I'm brain
Winetta
dead.
and I did a meeting. We conducted a meeting with Merle, and he is the zoning administrator. And then he wrote a letter to us, and then we filled out the review forms that the town has, and we put the copies in file, and we also had given it out to the select board members in the package last 2 weeks ago. So right now, there are 2 more people who need to have reviews. One person is Jay Wilson, and he is the road foreman, and the other person is Winetta. So my understanding, Chris, is that with Jay's review, you as road commissioner will participate in reviewing them. And at least since I've been on select board, the tradition has been that 2 people get together and meet with the person who needs the review, and then you write it up. So, so you're going to do that, and you'll have somebody else working with you.
Is there another select board person, correct?
Yes, a select board
Yeah.
person. So,
So I nominate Mike.
okay. I would have said the same thing because Mike knows a lot. And is that okay with you, Chris?
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I'll do it, Chris.
Okay, so the 2 of you will meet on your own, and you will make a date with Jay, and you'll have an interview with him, and he can speak his piece about what's going on with the road foreman's job, and you will talk to him. And then there's a packet, part of the packet
Yeah.
has the, yeah.
And the evaluation.
yeah,
Do your homework.
yes. Okay, so thank you. I think that's great. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Chris, for doing that. And you'll let Jay know that you will be reviewing it.
They're supposed to meet together or meet separately? Is there any?
Together.
Well,
Together,
we meet,
right?
yeah, we
Okay.
meet together.
Yeah.
with you.
Okay.
Okay, so now, in addition, Winetta has a review that's up for being done, and we need 2 people to do that. Is there anybody here who volunteers to work?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, you'll
I was
volunteer.
about to say Shelley and Angela.
Angela, yes, and
Because you're the
she,
chair, that way.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody gets 1.
yeah, so, yeah, and I did it already, so I think the
Oh,
perfect
yeah.
people for Winetta would be Shelley and Angela.
Oh, good.
Is that agreed upon?
Yep.
Okay,
Do
great.
we have to vote on it?
No. So you, since Angela's not here, we'll let her know. And then you and Angela will meet and decide where you're gonna meet.
Yep.
And talk with Winetta,
Yep.
okay?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Preferably before the next select board meeting.
Yeah, I think if we could have both reviews done by August 3rd meeting, that would be great.
Okay, and also now, we're doing these guys, but Jay does his own, evaluations of his staff.
That's separate,
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
he does that.
yes.
And
Jay and Chris do, I believe.
Jay and
Chris is-
Jay and Chris, did you guys do it already, or is it? No. Is it normally in the springtime?
I don't know when it is. It's,
I don't remember when we did it last, you really
Yeah.
want to know the truth.
some have been years.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well, it's good that we're doing
so
it.
we're catching up.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great. And also, another thing is Winetta she will give you copies if you don't have it already of the administrative assistant's job description.
Yeah, I have a copy. Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's in
and
here.
Mike and Chris, will you give them or do
They already
they?
have it in their packets.
Okay, so you'll review that together, and does
Yep.
Angela can come and get one for you? Okay, great,
So by August 3rd, right?
yeah. So is that good for you and Mike and Chris, August 3rd? Thank you very much. So, that's good. I think, set the new tax date. Do you want to talk about that? Because Doris
Yeah,
has
what's
spoken to you about that.
Yeah, Doris is estimating that, the new tax bills will be going out by August 8th. August 8th. And they're setting, well, they would be going out by the end of July. So with the Labor Day on the 7th, because they have to give 30 days, she's recommending the new date of September 8th as the due date for the first payment on the taxes, for the town taxes, not the school taxes.
Okay. So we do have the new tax rate?
Yes, we got that last week. We
Okay.
approved it.
They should have the school tax information by the end of the month.
So that's the one that's not
That's why
decided
she's
yet.
putting it out
Okay.
there.
Okay. So I make a motion to accept the new tax date, property tax date as September, let's see, is it 15th or
8th.
8th? Tuesday, September 8th, 2020.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Anybody opposed? No. Okay, so that is accepted, Winona.
Thank you.
Okay, before we go into the other new business that is printed here, Chris has requested that we bring up the issue of the swimming hole on Route 30. And so, Chris, I'd like you to express what your concern
Well,
is.
my concern is,
Can you
say-
just describe where it is for everybody to know?
it's deep on Depot Hill, yes.
Depot Hill?
Depot Road.
Depot
and
Road 30, yeah.
Yeah.
My concern is, you're supposed to say so far apart, there was either 100 to 150 cars there this weekend.
I know.
They did not all go down there. Some went down into the river. 99% of them were out-of-staters. New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
They go down the river, they're there all day, no facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Somebody gets
mask.
hurt down there.
Nobody was wearing, people that I saw were not wearing masks.
Oh, hell no. No facilities, and if somebody gets hurt down there, our local volunteer rescue has to go down and try to drag them out of there.
Well,
I think that place needs to be shut down. It's getting out of control.
okay. And I agree. And I also, right now, say for instance, the fire warden has stopped from having open fires due to the fact that, you know, it would take a crew of people to go out and just to put a fire out that's gotten out of control.
Mhm.
So I use that as a comparison to, let's put the fire out at the swimming pool before it gets out of control, and because of COVID-19.
Right.
And is the property on Depot Road, right, Indian Love Call,
Yeah,
that's in Newfane, correct?
All right.
yeah.
The other property across the street, is that also
That's
Newfane?
Dummerston.
That's
Now, You mean across Route 30?
Yeah,
No, that's in Hubbardston.
yeah, before the bridge. Okay. So, I mean, we're really over the jurisdiction of Indian Love Call.
Yes,
And,
That's where most of the accidents happen too.
yeah.
And
it's
that road
steep,
very
it's
steep.
steep trying to get down into it.
Yeah.
oh, you mean like physical accidents of people climbing and stuff?
Yeah, they get hurt up there a lot, and that's where the fire department always has to go. And
There's no trail anymore.
there's no
now.
good way of getting out of that place.
Yeah.
You know, there's a trail they walk along the bottom. It used to be an old town road, I guess, up through there. And
Oh, that was the old town road.
right,
Or railroad track, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, was it
town
on-
road.
town road.
Okay.
And well, you know, there's really not a good way for rescue to get in and out of that thing.
Right.
And that's what they usually do. They usually get calls in there.
I'm just concerned about this COVA with all those people from out of state coming in there.
Right.
I worry about our people.
That
I
just
could less care about them.
that just sends everything over the top. Already there's issues just in safety issues. And then, you know, now we've got COVID-19 and
Right.
people are coming from tri-state, quad state, you know, numerous states through that. Because it is on the internet as the
Oh,
place
yeah,
to
it
be.
has been for years.
Well, I do have to add that I am sure that there are Vermonters, local people who go there also.
Not for a
So,
minute. There are some, yes.
yes, so that I think we have to be concerned about everybody going there. Because there are people who live here and there are lots and lots of people who are coming in from out of state and they are not following the safety regulations and you can't. There's no social distancing. And I drove past it at 10:30 in the morning on yesterday, actually. I had to do an errand in Brattleboro, and by 10:30 in the morning, the roads were filled with cars, and there were tons of people, big family units on one side going down to the river, and then other people crossing over to go up to Indian Love Call. I didn't see a mask on anybody.
And
Not children, not
there's no
adults.
bathrooms there.
No, that's what I just said.
And
No, and there's certain cars that spend the weekend down there. They're there all night
So
long.
they're camping.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's an Indian Love Call. I guess it's the only place that we really can control because it's in our township.
yeah, the town line starts, you start up Williamsville Road, about 150 feet, 200 feet up, you'll see a big granite post.
That's the guardrail right there.
Yeah, that's the
They're
town
coming
of
out of
Newfane,
Gardner.
starts there.
Oh, going up that road?
Up Newfane, up,
Newfane don't own all the way to Route 30, about 200
Oh,
feet or
Depot
so.
Road.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, there's a big cement post.
A cement post. Okay.
It says Newfane on it, it doesn't
Oh, I've
say,
never seen it. Okay.
very plain.
Looking at the road.
Well,
how
I'm
does
just
this-
concerned, there's nothing we can do, you gotta go to your legislature to get something done. Nobody will do anything about it.
Well, is
Or
it
somebody gets killed down there.
is it private property?
Yes,
So they're allowing access over their private property?
well, see, it's a trail
Right.
up through there, a town trail. Well, actually, most of it's gone down the river. But there's a town trail from there all the way up to Duke Clark Road. Cause that used to be the town road.
Well, Jay was mentioning it before our official meeting started tonight, and he was saying that we would have to contact the legislature.
Yeah. But they won't do anything about it.
Well,
We
let's
can
try to
just try.
think positively.
We gotta put the effort behind it.
Yeah.
You gotta start and then move on.
I can tell you positively that the water, the E. coli, is low. So they've been
When I
telling
was
me
a
there's a
kid,
lot
we
of
had
help.
swimming lessons there. I only ever took one lesson each year. The water wasn't safe to be in. after that.
Oh,
Now, that was years ago.
Yeah.
When
well,
the water was good.
do test the levels, and just recently, I think it's that Watershed Alliance,
Yeah,
and they do the testing.
Mhm.
And it was on, I believe, Front Porch Forum, and it was noted that they were the lowest that they've had in a long time.
now,
Lowest
They-
amount of the.
I think they own some of that land down there too. Don't quote me on
Uh-huh.
it. I'm almost positive they own part of it. At
Who's
least
that?
the Watershed Alliance.
Well, I think it was posted by Chris White, who
Yep.
is a member of the Alliance, and she noted that there were testing. They do their regular testing.
Yeah, she lived
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. So I guess we need to make a letter to the legislature.
You were saying start with Emily Long?
She's our representative.
She is.
Well, so how about if we ask Winetta and to write a letter to Emily Long from the select board, saying we have a great concern about what's going on in those swimming holes, and that can she help us out, please, by letting us know what we need to do or what they can do up in Montpelier about this.
Well, specifically for the one that's located in our township.
Yes.
See, they shut down that quarry up in Dorset the other day.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that was in the paper.
We shut it down.
The owner closed it
Oh, the owner closed it.
because of COVID.
So we could use that as an example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great, Micah.
Well, a lot of that, now, a lot of the land, I believe, the landowner owns to the center of the river in a lot of places.
Oh, like the road like the town owns from the center out, 20
Well,
feet?
each property is different, but a lot of them own to the center of the river.
Well, how about finding out who would be in
But the
that
state would
area?
own the river no matter.
Right, correct.
State would own the water.
Or isn't it free to everybody?
But as I say, the state owns the waterway.
Yeah.
And if your land's posted here and here, as long as you walk down the riverbed, you can fish it. As long as you don't go onto the pipe for profit.
Right.
But because it's state waters. But
Now, I know
this is
a
health-
lot of that property down there they're on. I'm not gonna say any names here tonight.
But I mean, a lot of it is it's a health concern, and even the fire department was saying something about it earlier.
Yeah, well,
Todd's looked into it. Todd has tried to get a hold of the state and have something done about it.
Right.
Just laughed at it.
well, for instance, like the fire warden has told people, I don't know if everyone's gotten the message, no open fires to be
Oh, right.
burned, because of COVID
Sure.
and unnecessary,
Well, I was taking a walk this morning with a friend of mine in this area, and all of a sudden she said, I'm smelling smoke and fire. And somebody was making like a burn pile on their property. And we were saying, wow, they're not supposed to be doing that now.
they didn't get the memo, obviously.
No.
Or don't care.
Okay, so I think the first thing we'll do is to write a letter to Emily Long. And I'm really glad that you brought that up because obviously we've all had our concerns. Ken?
Yeah, by way of suggestion, at some point in the process, reaching out to Dummerston to see what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
the select board over there, and find out if they independently engaged in any initiatives themselves along the lines that you're proposing.
Yeah.
It's a suggestion.
All they've done is on our road, Depot Road, what little bit of land they own, they've got no parking signs on it.
But then on the state road, it's owned by the state, so then the state.
No, I'm talking to town.
On Depot Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the state road, Route 30,
State road.
the state would have to put no parking signs. So maybe we could
They do.
request.
Oh, on Route 30.
Yeah.
All it is that yellow light.
Yeah, there isn't no parking sign.
They put a yellow sign, a light
For a
that flashes.
recreation
That's it.
area.
Yeah, that's been up there for a few years,
Speed
going
up.
35 miles, but there are some no parking
Is there?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
but they noted
At
it,
the corner though, from the corner of Depot Road.
Well, they took
It's
and
not
put,
all the way down.
they put zigzags.
oh, I'm talking
Because
about
somebody
Route
pulled the-
30.
Somebody
They have-
pulled a trailer over the hood of somebody's car and it was out in the road once.
with
Okay,
Emily, and I don't know if Emily Long would also be in that, covered Demerston too, District 5? Wyndham, I think it's District 5. But that would be
Oh, yeah, I
something
know.
to ask her, maybe.
I
Give her
don't,
a heads up.
Jeanette White is a,
Well, the whole thing is, I mean, where we're talking about is twice as dangerous to get in and out of than even that down there at the depot.
Yeah.
And that's got a good trail right down over the hill to the river. And they have a lot more room on that side of the river. You know, people are not quite as tight as they are, you go up on the other end.
Yeah, I've never.
There's not a very big brook up through there no more.
Yeah. It's
And
gotta
there's some holes filled in and everything. I don't even know why people even bother to go up there anymore, but I mean. But it's, you know, the thing of it is, it's, you know, as far as, you know, health issue for the fire departments and them, it's a lot more treacherous getting
that
into that
is,
area. than it is the other.
absolutely. You're absolutely
And,
right.
whatever Demerson does, they do, but I mean,
I wonder if, you know, if they're going across a property and they're given the right to go over that property, what is the liability for that property owner who's alongside the river versus
say,
us being responsible in, you know, I mean, rescue has to be responsible if there's injuries.
I haven't been down in 30 years.
I've never been there, so I have no
I
idea.
used to go
Well, there
with my
is-
daughter and
say
it's
there's a-
great.
Where it's not washed out, the road is, well, it's all grown up, but the road is still there, and that's trail. Anybody can go on that.
I'll have to
But
take a
rivers
walk.
come in and wash.
or we did that ledger and washed it right out.
How do you access it through that one,
It's just a very small area.
is it a
Somebody-
road? Where
Well,
those,
Christ, in the past,
where those
the
camps
guys
are?
have
Yeah,
to
you go
drive
down
to
there
the
where the
stable,
camps
yeah.
are.
And you just keep going all the way
And
back?
if you kept walking it, you come out up on the other end past the town garage.
Oh,
Come right down, right by Elms, do you?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Don't get hurt.
No, I'll stay on the road.
Well, there isn't much road there, you have to know where you're going.
Imagine it's pretty well traveled right now. I can see it.
Okay.
A lot of needles and stuff, they say laying on the ground up there, I don't know.
One of the fun things of being a select board member, you check everything out.
You watch where you walk and that.
Yeah, that's really, you want good shoes on.
I'm not going down into the river though.
You don't have.
You don't know, it's out of the river where it's worse.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think we're going to move on now
Move on.
to
Move on.
the last subject of new business, and that is about
Oh, we got two things.
talking of, bringing up the fact that Gary Delius, former select board person and Newfane resident, passed away on June 25th. And it was sudden and fortunately not long-term suffering for Gary. And Mike actually requested appropriately so that we could spend a few minutes tonight just reminiscing and giving honor to Gary and who he was and all the service that he gave to the town and to the people. So Mike, do you want to start?
Well, it's, you know, like you said, when he died suddenly and stuff like that, I mean, he was on the board with us. And he would still been on the board with us, but he had to travel back and forth to California, and he didn't like doing the telephone conversations, and he didn't feel that it was right that being a selectman that he spent some of the time in California. But, you know, I definitely can say from what I met of Gary and what I see of him, you know, he's top notch what he did, knew what he was talking about,
Yep.
and he did a real good service to this town.
Mhm.
Not just the town, but he was well liked throughout the whole valley.
Right.
You know, Wardsboro and all, and a lot of people up there really thought, you know, the world of him. And he was a real nice guy. You know?
Yeah.
And then he did a lot for the town, and his best interest was for the town, you know. And he pretty well missed.
He was very good to work with, very good. I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah.
His background, he was in municipality management, and I'm not sure, I think
Provincetown
Provincetown
in Massachusetts.
in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
And, you know, when I was newly onto the select board and even right before he passed, I reached out to him and just to chat with him and check in with him and get some advice, you know, about life and select board life. And, you know, he was just happy to hear from me, and we chatted, and he was looking, you know, they were heading back, and he was like, I am not sleeping in the car on the way back. No way, because of this COVID. So he was trying to figure out how to get home and stay in places and find places to stay in, because that's how they traveled, and, you know, normally anyways. But it was just, I was glad that I had a chance to speak with him shortly before he passed. And I really enjoyed knowing him very much as a friend.
Yeah, I lived just a few houses down from where Gary and his partner Bob McCandless lived. They owned the Fieldstone Lodge, which is on the other side of the brook on West Street. And he and Bob were together for 40 years, which is an amazing accomplishment, in my opinion, for people to be together for so long. And they were so committed to each other and also to provide service to the towns that they lived in. And so when they lived in Massachusetts, they had wonderful stories about all the things that they did. And well, they were in the hospitality business, and they did very well there. And for some reason that I can't even remember now, they decided to come up to Newfane and make their home here. But they had no idea how they would be received here. Excuse me. And very shortly after they moved here, they became so enamored with the town of Newfane, with the residents of Newfane, with the people who work and volunteer for the town of Newfane. And they said that in all the years they had been together, they had never felt a more wonderful sense of community. And they really gave their hearts and souls. And Bob also, who's a planning commission person right now. And Gary then joined DRB after he left the select board. And so I miss him terribly. He was a wonderful friend and
neighbor.
Friend and neighbor. And our hearts really go out to Bob right now. And I think that he needs a lot of support and is going through a difficult time. And yet, Bob at the same time is looking forward to doing the next things to contribute to Newfane. So I thank you, Michael, for bringing up the thoughts that we need to really honor Gary in public.
He stopped last summer. He saw me at the post office in Williamsburg. He shot right in there and had to get out, shake my hand, and visit.
Oh,
Just right out of the blue. There he was.
yeah.
Friendly.
But I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah. He and Bob drove, they came back from California several weeks ago. They had to put off coming back because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And so I was standing on the sidewalk in front of my house, and Bob and Gary were driving down the block, and Bob was driving and Gary was in the passenger seat. And we hadn't seen each other yet, so we're very happy to see each other, and we talked for a few minutes, and then I said, is everybody healthy? And they said yes. And Gary said to me, we're very healthy and we're very busy getting ready to open up Fieldstone Lodge again. And then they drove off. And it was several days later that he passed on. And thanks to God, he didn't suffer much. It was very quick for him. But,
Yeah, do you mind if I say,
oh, please join in.
yeah, thanks for doing this, and all of you for doing this, because the possibilities for public affirmation and remembrance and celebration of Gary's life is really limited right now.
Yes, it is.
So, in a way, here we are right now.
Right.
I just would want to affirm that, what a loving man,
Mhm.
Yes.
what a loving and generous and present person.
Yes.
And, like for you, he would come up to me, how are you doing? How travels back and forth to New York? How's your wife doing?
Mhm.
How's she doing with her work? That kind of generosity and presence is just so difficult to lose and so wonderful to have had.
Right.
And his commitment to the town through the select board, through the DRB, and memorable moments in the town meetings and also here in select board meetings as a parliamentarian.
Yes.
What incredible skills as a parliamentarian and keeping things,
In
through
order.
difficult moments, keeping them on track. So just tremendous skills.
Another thing he did was that he worked with, on town meeting day, he worked with Deb Luskin
Right.
in making sure, Deb asked him to work with her to make sure that she was doing the Robert's Rules of Order
Yeah.
correctly because he knew it so well.
Yes.
And that was another thing that he really contributed a lot to.
I remember him saying, "Point of order,"
Right, exactly.
when we got a little crazy.
And I have to say that as a neighbor and friend, when he met us, all of us, right away he said, anytime you want, come up to the property, walk around, enjoy yourselves, sit down, look around. This is not just for us, it's for all of us in the community to enjoy his place. And he was such a gracious, giving person, as you said, and also very funny. On top of it all, very funny. Juanita, did you know Gary?
Not personally, no.
No. Well, we pray that he's at peace.
Very missed and well remembered, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Fondly.
And I have to say that if we can all be supportive to Bob right now, he really needs it. And he,
wish him the best.
in his own right, is an incredible human being, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
And one day at a time with him now. So, well, thank you for contributing.
Oh, it's an honor to be able to say something at this time for Gary.
Yeah,
And certainly Bob, working with Bob on the planning commission. Parallel things could be said about Bob.
exactly.
And we could say it to him when we can see him.
Right, yeah. I mean, between the two of them,
Oh.
they did so much for us in the community.
Well, that's what you like to see in a community too. You like people like that,
Yeah, we have a
It's friendly and
friendly community, I feel.
Yeah,
Even though we may disagree on things at times.
yeah. No, really, they both of them have said so often during the time that they've lived here that they are so happy to live in Newfane. They said it's absolutely an amazing community of people.
Yeah, everyone you run into, you really can't, you just are friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, Mike. I appreciate it very much.
Is this anything that we have to do?
Okay, so now we're up to correspondence.
No,
Is that? What's that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, is that
Oh,
considered
okay.
correspondence?
Yeah, this is correspondence.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't
Because
realize that it was in my packet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's for the Board of Selectmen.
okay.
Okay.
It's just additional information, right? Yeah.
Mm.
I
Um,
included
Yeah,
it.
there would be correspondence.
Yeah,
I just didn't think about it.
okay.
And there's one other thing too that we need to, with Pete Van Loon.
Which one was that?
Pete Van Loon.
Oh, yeah, you have,
I think I
it's
gave you
here.
the copy.
Yeah, so you know what? Why don't you read that first,
Okay.
and then I'll read the one from Dennis, okay?
Okay. So this is a letter from Wyndham Regional Commission, and it's a declaration regarding Pete Van Loon. And I'll just read it out. Pete's another guy that is talking about friendly people and committed people to the community. You'll get the story from what I read here. He was on the commission. So whereas Pete Van Loon served as a commissioner of the Wyndham Regional Commission from 1975 until 2020. Whereas he served as chair and vice chair for many years during his tenure. Whereas he served as chair of many committees, most recently Planning, Coordination, and Personnel. Whereas he served as chair of the Vermont Association of Planning and Development Agencies. Whereas he's been extraordinarily committed to the mission and the purpose of the Wyndham Regional Commission and maintaining the integrity of planning at the regional and municipal levels. Whereas he's been a strong advocate for the importance of the role of commissioners in all aspects of the commission. Therefore, be it now resolved that the Wyndham Regional Commission expresses its appreciation and gratitude to Pete Van Loon for his 45 years of service
Oh, my goodness.
to the town of Newfane and the commission. Signed on this 23rd day of June 2020 by Gabrielle Sifrida, Chair of the Wyndham Regional Commission. And again, a great guy who served his community for 45 years of his life.
It's amazing.
So I think I wanted to make a recommendation that we put this in a frame and hang it here in the office.
Does he have a copy? Does he have it?
I'm assuming that he did, but if not,
Where did you get that from?
this came to me because I'm the commissioner. I'm the commissioner now for the Wyndham Regional
Oh, I
Commission.
see, okay.
And I'm on a couple of committees there. And I remember when I accepted the commission and Pete was in the audience and he goes like this. So he was like giving me the thumbs up saying, yeah, it's time to hand
pass
over the torch,
Yeah.
and keep it going. So,
Well, I think that's great to have a friend.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
yeah, a nice, gold trim, mat with a nice frame. I think it well deserves more than just a piece of paper. And
Absolutely.
it needs to be here in this town hall or and into the future wherever it goes, not to be cast aside. This is a lot of years of commitment. And he also I served with him. He was the chair when Marion had to leave the board, and so Pete stepped in, and we automatically appointed him as chair because he had so much vast experience in everything to do with the town. And he graciously accepted it, but begrudgingly, I think. And he was happy to move on.
I didn't get to work with him, but in the fall, I started coming to the meetings a lot.
Yes, yeah.
And I just loved listening to him, and he was so bright and so personable. And I kept saying, please stay on the board. But he
He figured it out that it was time for him to leave,
Yeah.
you know.
But, and I mean, I had heard a lot about him throughout the years, but just sitting in the audience and watching all of you working together, it was great. He's such
I've
a,
worked with him for a lot of years,
really,
and he still stops over to town garage and sees the guys.
Oh, does he? I haven't seen him since he's left the
you've
select
seen
board.
him whenever,
I've
right?
seen him and he calls.
Yeah, he calls whenever sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's great. Thank you. And a beautiful frame,
Yeah.
simple, great frame would be lovely.
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay, and we have another letter that I'm going to read. This is from Dennis Griswold, and it's to the town of Newfane. Dear Board of Selectmen, I have served the town of Newfane 9 of the last 11 years. 4 years as a selectman, chairing the board during the Tropical Storm Irene disaster. 3 years on the town office committee during the structural renovation, and the last 2 years as a lister. It has been a pleasure to serve and have the trust of the people of Newfane. It has also been a pleasure to work with 2 dedicated listers like Doris and Frank. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 virus has kept me away from the town office due to a medical condition that compromises my immune system. Therefore, I have been unable to spend time in the lister's office to properly conduct business. For that reason and other changes in my personal life, I am resigning the position of lister the end of July 2020. I am recommending when the board fills the position, they strongly consider a person with strong computer data entry and records upkeep skills, as that has become so much of the lister's responsibility. Sincerely, Dennis M. Griswold.
Another great guy.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
and I think he forgot to add that he came back to the board a few years ago. Remember, he was sitting over there? Who was it? There was an opening. There
He was on for a few months.
a few months, yeah.
Was
He
it
came
Carol
back.
or something?
Was it?
Was it Carol that got done?
Was it Carol, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah. And so it was a pleasure to work with him here.
Yeah.
He had a lot of years of experience with you and Gary Katz and Michael and other people that I'm not even sure of.
He did it during the Irene, tropical
Right.
Irene. That was
He
a tough.
took care of the whole thing.
He
He
did?
did a damn good job, I'll tell you that.
Well, we'll miss you, Dennis. I hope you're watching. And thank you so much for your years of service. It's been a pleasure that you've been here and helping out so much.
Yes.
But you know, I tell you what, that's like what you're looking at tonight. That's what I keep saying. That's why you need these younger people to start stepping up to the plate.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, I mean, we had 2 tonight, one for that and her for doing the other things. I mean, it's pretty important that younger people start getting involved in town politics.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the people that are on these things have been there a long time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well, Dennis is a real nice man, and you know, he obviously had to make a decision. So it was nice that he sent it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I
we
guess
wish
probably
you
we
well.
have to start looking for another lister then, right, between now and.
Immediately.
Right.
But
we
you
got
gotta
to
have
better-
somebody that knows something about it.
But I said, we probably better put it out there, right?
Yeah. Have the listers done anything about this so far, Winetta, do you know?
Unless Dennis sent them a letter as well, I did not share that because it was addressed to the select.
Oh, I see.
I was not given permission to share.
I mean, we're the ones that have to do the hiring and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And that's a part-time position or something?
Yes.
Yeah. How many days a week was it? Was it 2 or 3 days a week again?
2 days a week,
2 days a week.
Tuesdays and Thursdays usually.
Mhm.
And the lister is basically the one that is handling all of the property assessments
Assessment.
and would go out to properties
Yes.
to look at the value, if there's any new things or whatever. to
I think
get-
what I would recommend, I'd
Assessment.
recommend getting together with Frank and Doris and have them put together like a thing to put out there for look what the person we're looking for.
By the way, I just remembered we've lost somebody else recently, and that was Ted Schreier, passed away.
Oh, I saw
And-
that. He had
yes.
passed.
And
I didn't
he
know
passed,
him.
and he was a lister for many, many years and a surveyor. And he worked incredibly hard for this town for
Mhm.
many, many years.
I've seen his name around, but I don't think I've ever met him.
Yeah. And he has a lovely wife, and they live up on South Wardsboro Road.
I saw his obituary.
His obituary
Yeah.
was in the Brattleboro Reformer
Yeah,
recently.
and he was world traveler, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're amazing. So that's
Just
another
enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it goes
Dirt
fast.
nap's a long one. That dirt nap's a long one.
When you're gone,
Yeah.
Well said.
Oh, gosh.
So I think that we are complete for the evening. And we're going to go on to pay orders in a few minutes. So we wish everybody well. Please stay safe. Please follow the rules and regulations of the Vermont state laws with COVID-19.
And if you haven't done your survey for the census, please do so. It means money in the town pocket.
Yes, it's important that you do the census because we
Yes.
get federal monies
Mm-hmm.
and also what, state monies, correct? Or is it just federal?
It's on the second page of your packet.
And
what
it's
we get.
based,
It's like billions of dollars we get in federal aid.
yeah. And that's for, infrastructure type of things and roads and whatever, health, human services,
And you
etc.
can do that online.
Yes, it's really easy.
Yeah, super fast.
Yeah.
And does Carol have, where does someone get a form if you want to do it in person? I know that
Call me.
call Winetta Powling 365-7772 extension 4. Thank you.
Called that number a few times.
Yeah. Daily.
Good night, Ken.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Good night.